Today we're going to talk table saw safety. We're over here at one of the saw stops. This is only an 8th grade tool as we're going through. Nobody else is going to use this. 8th graders, you need me here to watch whenever you're doing this. First thing you need to do when you're coming over here is know what size your board is going to be cut to. Because we can set the fence up exactly where we want it. We loosen the handle, and then we use our other hand to move this over. We look at the red line over on this side, the right hand side. The red line on the gauge, and you set it to whatever. Like right now I set it to 11 inches. That means from the fence to the blade it's 11 inches, so that's the size we're going to cut. So you need to know the size you're going to cut before you come over here. Once you come over here, we need to make sure the tabletop is free of all debris in that as we're going to get started and set the fence to the size we need. We need to check the blade to make sure it's up to the right height. The blade should be about 1/4 of an inch higher than whatever you're cutting, about 1/4 of an inch. Okay? To raise and lower the blade, you use the wheel in the front right here. You clockwise to raise it, counterclockwise to close it, or to drop it into the table. The guard will need to be over the material you're cutting, and again, the teacher's going to need to be over here. I'll usually be on that back side. If you're not sure, confident in the setup, make sure you ask before you cut. We need to make sure it's done, the handle's locked down, we're set to go, and the fence is locked in place. So, couple of things you need to be aware of. Anytime you're cutting anything less than 5 inches, I set that less than 5 inches, you need to have a push stick to push the board through, because this is a small space for your hand. We don't want to have our hand next to the blade. I have a variety of push sticks. This one looks like this. You would hook it on the back of the board to push it through as you're going, so you can push right through. Whenever you're cutting anything with the table saw, I'm going to lift the guard up so you can see. Anytime you're cutting anything, you're going to push the board past the blade before you stop pushing. It has to get past the blade. The blade is right here. This is a riving knife. This splits the board so it doesn't, when you cut, the board sometimes you might want to pinch back together. The riving knife stops that from happening so it doesn't get pinched. We need to think about where we're standing when we're using this. Most people will say you don't want to be standing directly behind the blade. It's this side, the material here, what's behind the blade, this is what can come flying back at you. Okay? So if you're standing here, you might be hit. So some people will tell you to stand on the left side of the blade as they're cutting. Some people will say you can stand on the right side over here, so you're out of the way. What I want is, I don't want you directly behind if you can help it, but I want you comfortable where you can control the board. Because the most important thing is you controlling the board you're pushing through. Because if you do that, the odds of you getting kickback are pretty much nil. Okay? You get kickback when the blade when the board gets pinched with the blade and in between the fence. So if you're not holding this tight against the fence, it can get pinched. Without that riving knife, the board can get pinched. There's lots of different ways. But the biggest part is controlling the board. So when I use this, I usually stand right over here, and I'm controlling the board. Now, if it's a tight cut, I'll kind of lean sideways so the board can go past me over there. But generally, when I get to the end of the cut, I'm almost always finishing up with just my right hand pushing down and in against the fence that way until it's past the blade. Now, I do that because we never want to be reaching over the blade. I don't want to bring this back here. We never want to be bringing our hand and leaning it anything over the blade. We don't want to be leaning our body over the blade. We don't want anything over the blade. So if I'm off to the side here, directly behind that kickback area, which again, the board might hit me, but if I'm controlling the board, it's not going to kick back. I can push this through and I'm not leaning over that blade. Same would go for if I'm cutting a wider piece. Let's say this. I'm holding it tight against the fence and I'm pushing it down and in against the fence as I'm going through. It would cut over here, Again, I'm going to push this through. Now I'm not leaning any part of my body over that blade. Okay? I'm not reaching over. If I'm standing over here, now I'm trying to reach and go around or leaning over the top of the blade. Or when I stand here, I can push through and it doesn't go over the blade. So, those are things to think about when you're cutting. I'm going to demonstrate a couple of cuts here as we go. I'm not going to talk through it because you're not going to hear me anyway. The dust collection needs to be on whenever the table saw is running. But you'll be able to see a few cuts, see what it looks like when you're doing this right. This saw stop is set up to cut rabbets. It's got a dado blade in it, which is wider. Rabbets right now, you're going to do on the edge of your table body. You're also going to do it on your tabletop. We use push blocks like this and like this to help us hold and control the wood so our hands don't get anywhere near the blade. So in this case, if I was going to cut a rabbit on this board, I would put that up against the fence. I would use this push block here. This push block has to stay tight to the fence. So you would push down and in the direction the handle is as you're pushing it forward, and that keeps it tight. Now, we're going to use this other push block to hook on the front and pull back and push down so we can push it through. Now, this is making your hands do two opposite things, so it takes a little coordination and a little practice. This hand's pushing forward that way, this one's pushing down and pulling back in order to get your material through. It'll look like this. We push the material all the way through. Once it's through, you saw I pulled my hands off to the right-hand side, and then I shut the saw off. Okay? That's how you're going to use this. When you shut the saw off, I used my hand. I shouldn't have used my hand. I should have just used my knee. But that's what you do with push blocks. The last thing I'm going to talk about with the table saw is this. This is a miter gauge. You can put the miter gauge in the slot. You can use this to cut angles on boards on the table saw. I'll also use it if I'm going to make a whole bunch of repetitive cuts the exact same size and they're smaller because it's easier than using the catch. You can't use the miter gauge on this side and the fence at the same time. If you do that, I have my fence locked down, I push this in here, I push the board through like this, I'm not holding this board, supporting this board. It's going to pinch in between the blade and the fence when I do, and it's going to come shooting back every time. So we never use the miter gauge and the fence at the same time. Now, you aren't going to do this and use the miter gauge at all in this class. This is more of an advanced skill. Why I'm telling you this is if you have access to a table saw at home and you see a miter gauge, you don't go, oh, let me do this and try something and end up getting hurt or damaging something. So no miter gauge and fence at the same time.